Now let's connect with the management of Balrampur Chini. Pramod Patwari, CFO of Balrampur Chini, joins us now. Pramod, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Sugar is one sector which is on everyone's radar, whether it is policymaker, Indian consumer, or stock market commentators. Before I get into specific of exports and ethanol demand, walk us through the big picture. Where sugar prices have been, why sugar prices are at a 7-month high, is it demand or is it pure supply imbalance?
Yeah, good morning, Nikunj. So as far as the international sugar prices are concerned, we are of the view that international prices are somehow decoupled with the domestic prices. The reason behind 6 to 7 years of international high sugar prices is there is some sort of physical tightness into the system in terms of gaps, availability gaps. Though overall there will be surplus at the global level, but in the interim period, as because the logistical issues are there in Brazil, there is some physical tightness. Domestic prices has not really moved up in last couple of years, though the cost has increased significantly in terms of cane price increase, lower yield as well as lower recovery. Now, the big picture what you are mentioning of is the ethanol story. If my memory is serving me right, that last year we purchased around 370 to 375 lakh tons of sugar cane from the farmers. And if you apply a 350 rupees per quintal as an average rate, that translates into 1.3 lakh crores worth of sugar cane. As against this, if we take 27.5 million ton as the national consumption, and if we take an average sugar price of around 34 or 34 and a half, as because Maharashtra sells lower, it translates into an annual realization of around 90 to 95,000 crores. So the gap between 1 lakh 30,000 to 90 to 95,000 crores of rupees is being currently met by exports as well as ethanol. So last year, industry supplied almost 400 crores liter of ethanol. If you take an average price of around 55 rupees per liter, it translates into an 22,000 crores of revenue from the ethanol segment. So there lies the big picture.
When it comes to ethanol demand, do you think ethanol demand, while it's great that we are moving to green fuel and clean fuel, this in a sense is going to be indirectly fueling the sugar prices higher only? Because if sugar cane gets diverted for ethanol production, which is what sugar companies would be doing, that's why margins are higher and stability of business is higher, it could indirectly start impacting sugar prices.
But the sugar prices have not really moved up in the last couple of years. The first priority is obviously the sugar availability into the country for the domestic consumption. Next being the ethanol, and thereafter, if anything is left, that only can be exported. So we don't think that there is any price risk, in view of the continuous improvement in the ethanol.
Sugar exports are relaxed, which is what there seems to be a sense in the market. Is this something which will incrementally benefit all sugar companies, or it would be selectively for companies which have a refining capacity in and around port? Because in sugar, transportation is also a big cost which we tend to ignore.
So as far as the logistical issues or the infrastructure availability is concerned with respect to export, the big picture is if the surplus sugar moves out of the country, it doesn't matter whether it leaves from Uttar Pradesh or from Maharashtra. The availability of sugar at the national level comes down. That gives supports to the domestic prices.
But what happens to the profitability, Pramod, in this case? I mean, even if there are additional 1 million ton sugar exports are allowed, given the low quantum of last year's export, is it going to really aid profitability significantly for sugar companies and for you in specific?
So again, your question is with respect to export. I would like to comment by saying that government will take decision maybe at the end of March or in the month of April when they have a better visibility with respect to export, with respect to sugar production. As of now, the country's production is expected to be around 33.5 million ton, and on numerous occasions, government has made it very clear that they are comfortable with an closing inventory of around 2.5 months of consumption as of 30th of September. So last year we began with around 6 million ton of inventory. So maths can automatically be worked out.
Let's talk about ethanol then, because a concern for ethanol segment has been lower growth of ethanol prices. You've expanded your ethanol capacity, which could very well aid your top line growth. But given higher molasses prices, lower ethanol prices, just wanted to understand how profitability for purely ethanol is going to shape up for you.
So the ethanol prices are, there is no ambiguity with respect to ethanol prices. Ethanol prices are announced annually, once in a year. And last announcement had happened in the month of November, wherein a price raise was given. It is linked with the prices of sugarcane as well as the cost of production of sugar. However, having said that, we have now reached at a juncture where higher and higher diversion of sugar into ethanol is required, and which can only happen when there is a larger juice-based ethanol capacity. To incentivize ethanol producers to come forward with an additional capacity, what is required at this point in time is the more remunerative juice-based prices. And for that, we have represented to the government through our association to have a relook at the juice-based ethanol prices.
So if you have to talk about the sugar cycle in India for 2023, where do you think the cycle is headed?
Nikunj, in our view, the cyclicality has been significantly moderated in view of various evacuation measures available with the government as well as the industry. A significant portion of sugar is getting converted into ethanol. So this year, maybe around 4.5 million ton of sugar will get converted into ethanol. Last year, it was around 3.5. And the trajectory for next 2 years is between 5.5 to 6.5 or maybe 7 million. So in our view, the tag of cyclicality has been significantly moderated. Apart from the natural vagaries, we don't really see any other cyclicality reasons.
My last question, that the predictions for summer this year are not very encouraging. And if there is a El Nino impact, it will surely have an impact on monsoon distribution and rainfall. What happens in this year, in this case, if you have a hard summer and a poor monsoon?
By that time, the sugar season 22-23 will be over. As of now, we have a good amount of water reservoirs level. So maybe that may impact next year's sowing as well as the harvest. But that will normally impact the domestic Maharashtra and the Karnataka region.
Pramod, great to have you today on ET Now. Glad that you could take time out and speak with us.
Thank you.